So no questions on homework? Yeah, sorry.
73 and 3.6. So 72, sorry.
78.
All right. In 2002, there were 3,039 hospitals, blah, blah, blah. This number was decreasing at a rate of 33 hospitals per year. Okay, I'll let you absorb that. Now, me being a math guy, I automatically see that information in a certain way. For example, decreasing at 33 hospitals per year. What's that in the context of lines, of mathematical lines?
Negative 33.
Negative 33 is a slope, right?
Yeah.
So we know m is negative 33. And what's this? Points, right? And do they say this one?
X1 is...
Man. Alright, sorry. I just keep wishing for them to stop using the whole year as X, but oh well, that's what they did. So this is a point. This is a point, 2002. In 2002, there were 3,039. That's a point. So part A says, determine a slope-intercept equation of a line, blah, blah, blah. So now I got the slope, I got a point. I didn't have to do any work besides recognize that they gave me that, right? And how do I go from this information to the equation of the line? How do I do that?
1 minus 1, 1.
Plug. Yeah, okay, cool. And then part B should be easy after that. You just throw 2009 in the equation. Alright, I like that phrase. Just throw 2009 into the equation. Is that okay? If you haven't done that problem yet, there's a good, really, really good start to it. Anything else?
Can you do number 36? 36? I have it started, but I don't know why.
Oh. All right, so that little section of problems in 3.6, they give you something in this form and they ask you to write it in slope-intercept. And what's slope-intercept form?
Y equals M.
So you just distribute, add that over.
Okay.
Is that they're going to give you like y minus 2 equals 5 times x minus 7. How do you put it in this form? You just get y by itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, X1 is not 3,039.
Oh, I'm sorry. So this is a different problem now. This is done. This is as far as I'm going to do.
I mean,
But what's x1 from this problem? What's x1? What's the x piece of the point? What's the x piece?
X1, 2002.
What's the x piece? 2002 is the x piece, and this is the y piece. So that's x1, y1. It's always x,
I
y.
thought that X is 3,039 would be, Y is 100. Because we have...
No. See, the 100 doesn't mean shit to this problem, right? That's just something the hospitals did. You could have said 3,039 hospitals were painted red. I mean, it doesn't... 3,039 hospitals did something. The amount that do that thing is decreasing by 33. So the number 100 doesn't show up anywhere in the equation. The number 100 is just part of the description. Does that make sense? And then, anyway, so the other problem is just simplifying. I like it. Yes?
66 on the same section. How do you find... No, it's not 66. Hold on. Oh, it's 63. How do you find the speed of the driver?
Oh, which part is it they ask you that? There it is. Okay. If I give you a graph where this is distance miles. This here is distance in miles, and this is time in hours, right? What will the slope represent? What's the units of the slope? What is slope?
Miles.
Is y's over x's, right? So what's the y's? What's the unit on the y's? Miles. And what's the unit on the hours? In fact, this is more like d over t now, right? Distance equals rate times time, so rate is distance divided by time. But you can see in the units, miles per hour, that's a speed. So how do you when they ask you how fast were they going, what that means is, what's the slope of the line? Those two questions are the same. I like it. Okay. Yeah.
For one number 72.
Thank you.
When you put the line, you know that means like miles per hour, right? You don't have to put the miles and then the miles per hour.
Oh, when you calculate the slope,
I mean, for.
No, I know. When you're like,
well,
when they ask for the distance.
that means miles per hour, so the P means. P means per. So it's just our way of writing a ratio as a straight line. We don't want to write fractions, because then people will freak out. I don't want to get my car as a fraction of, oh, screw it. Sorry, I am totally making fun of people that don't like it. 401 number, which one?
72.
Man, you guys are going right to the ends. I love it. Blah, blah, blah. All right. So now that we are learning about systems of equations, I could do word problems using more than one variable. So number 72 is a little step in that direction. An isosceles triangle. Okay, stop. What do we know about isosceles triangles? Isosceles. Do we know anything about isosceles triangles?
The angle is 180.
Okay, that's true about any triangle.
Like,
Not all sides. That's equilateral.
like how.
Isosceles have how many equal sides? Two. If it's not all sides, it's got to be two sides because the inch is one side. So these sides are equal and these angles are equal. That's isosceles. That's why we call it isosceles. It's a special kind of triangle. So this is all about the perimeter being something. So it says the perimeter is 17 inches. Its two shorter sides are equal in length. The longest side is 2 inches more than either of the shorter sides. So now watch. So this, what we can do now is, if I call this one, what am I going to call this side?
A.
Who? A. I love it. So what's that side?
B.
No.
A.
A also, because those sides are
Oh.
equal. In fact, they tell you in the problem. I wish they didn't. They already said the word isosceles. They shouldn't have to say they're equal in length. No, that's what isosceles means. So what's that side? B. Let's call it B. You call it whatever the hell you want to, as long as these are the same. What are variables? They take the place of numbers I don't know. So which one's going to use? Any ones we want to. You don't always have to use X and Y. So I love the A and the B shit. I love it. So what can I write immediately because of this? What's the first equation I can write because of this? You can do it.
A plus A plus
A plus A plus B equals 17. So A plus A is?
A squared.
No.
2A.
2A.
Oh,
Exponents mean you would be multiplying. Yeah, be careful. You would make this problem so much worse than it has to be if you did that. The second thing they tell me is that the longest side measures 2 inches more than either of the shorter sides. This is the longest side. The longest side measures 2 inches more than either one of these. So what equation can I write? The longest side is 2 inches more than either of the shorter sides. Not twice as long. 2 inches more than.
Plus.
B is the longest side. The longest side is 2 more than either of the shorter sides.
2A plus 2.
Not 2 more than twice.
2A minus.
Come on. What's 2 more than A?
So A plus
A plus 2. It didn't say 2 more than twice. It didn't say twice. It didn't say about twice. It said 2 more than either of these, which is just one of these plus 2. What can I do between these two? Does everybody see what it can be done now? Substitution. I know B is this, so I plug that in for B and solve for A, and then I can get B. Alright, so I'll let you guys finish that out. The hard part, as always, is setting the thing up.
But it's not the same if I say 2 plus 8.
Of course it is, because you can add whatever order you want to. I love it.
Yeah.
So if that's the only one you had trouble with in that section, that's awesome. Of course, some of us are like, well, I haven't had any problems with anyone because I haven't done it. Well, all right. That's a very optimistic way to look at it. I didn't have any problem with homework at all. Didn't do it. Okay.
Applications are very hard.
Sorry. Yes.
Yes.
So a lot of word problems show up in section 4.2. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I do it?
I like it. Huh? I guess I should talk about it. Yeah. Well, I want to first remind you guys, I don't want to do this problem for you. Let's do another one and just remember what substitution is. And then we'll look at a couple more word problems. And then we'll talk about the next algebraic way to solve these. Oh, I forgot. Oh yeah. Oh, we got so much time. It's crazy. All right. So just in case you weren't here last time, or we need a refresh. First off, a really big thing is if I have 2 lines, let's say line 1 and line 2, and I graph them, where's the answer to the system of equations? Where they meet. This works in line 1, let's say. All these points work in line 2. Therefore, that point must work in both. And that's why it's the answer. Right? So that's 4.1. They talk about the graphical way to solve systems of equations. Why does this quickly suck, this method? Because the answer could be 1.91244996. I am not going to find that answer drawing it by hand, right? Nobody in here is that good. I am certainly not that good. Because I can't draw. So substitution method is the first of a couple of algebraic ways to do this. And algebra can come up with any answer. Algebra is like 2.4199. I got that. No problem. Algebra can do it. So the first method we learned, let's do an example. I guess I should make it work. It should work. We'll find out if it did. Alright. So how does substitution work? Somebody who was here last time, somebody who knows. What can I do? Why is the first one really nice?
Plug it into the C.
Because this first one tells me that C is this. So going in, I know that's true. These are 2 facts that I have. Between the 2 facts, I'm trying to determine the things I don't know. So that is a fact for this problem. C is 2 minus 3D. So then when I go to look at number 2, I would start to rewrite number 2 as 3 times C, but what the hell is C?
2 minus 3D.
2 minus 3D. And then I just keep writing it. So I got 3C plus 4D plus 4D. I just rewrote it using what I know. And why is this much better than that? It's got more shit in it, but it's actually got less in a way. Why is this better than that? This one's better than that one because
Now it's all D.
how many things do I not know in this equation? 1. In this equation, I don't know 2 things. So this is a better equation than that. Right? Okay. And now it's easy. Should be easy. This is easy now.
6 minus 9 plus 14. 5 minus 5.
Minus 5D.
Let me add 6. 5D equal,
6 minus 6 would cancel.
11 minus 6. 5.
D equals
-1.
-1. So then you circle that and stop? Yay! No, because there were two things I didn't know. What's beautiful about substitution method is you're always going to have an equation that's solved for the other letter already, right? So if I know D is -1, I know C has to be twice, or 2 minus 3 times
-1.
-1.
So 2 plus
6.
5.
All right, so if you stop there, you're fine. If you circle the answers, you're fine. But what really should the answer look like, considering this?
-1.
5 -1. I like it. Always alphabetical order, unless otherwise stated. All right, let me let you absorb that. This is the idea behind every system of equations we do. So the answer should always be able to be written as a point if there is an answer. There won't always be an answer. They might be parallel, so they might have no solution. What would that look like if there were no solution? Somewhere I would get... What would the algebra look like if there was no solution?
0.
0 equals 20. I love it. 4 equals 7. You get something that's not true at the end, right? All right, how are we feeling?
Good.
Okay. Take your word for it. Yes.
Can you check number 45 because it's both are right. For 2.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. No. So, okay, let's look at 45. I love it.
Yes,
I love it. I love it. 45 is kind of a silly little problem. Doesn't really matter. What do they got? 5 over 5x. Y equals -3x. So I like the way you're thinking at first, but they both equations have how many letters in them? 2. The first equation tells me that y is 5x. So how do I rewrite the second equation?
5x
Put 5x there.
minus 3x.
I know y is 5x. I'm going to replace this y with 5x. Now this always freaks people out, but dear God. All I have to do is put a +1 there and suddenly you know how to do it. That shouldn't be the way it is. I don't care what the hell's... There's nothing that... Who gives a shit? Are the x's together? That's what you're supposed to do, right? Get the x's together. How do you get these x's together? Add 3x, right. So 8x equals... And this freaks people out. There's not no solution. There's a solution. Divide by 8. Again, if I put an 8 there, you would know to divide by... That number does not tell you what to do. This number tells you what to do. Why is the x not by itself? Multiply by 8. So I divide by 8. I get x is 0. So then what's y?
0.
Okay, y is 0. So these meet at the origin.
The origin.
Of course they do. What's the y-intercept of both of them? 0, 0. Right. So that's where they meet. They both have the same y-intercept. They meet there. So it's a very weird-looking problem to begin with because it's sort of a special case. They meet at the origin. It's kind of weird. So 0 is completely except poor little 0 dude. Of course, sometimes 0 is the jerk, but here's the poor little dude. He's like, I'm a number 2, man. Yes.
What's that?
Oh, 4-2, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 4-2 for 45.
Yeah. Okay, so that's substitution. How are we doing there? All right, let me give you one to try. That's a little different. Use substitution, just in case you know something else. Substitution. Substitution is like the word banana. I'm not sure where to stop.
We need to work for y?
I don't know. Try something. Just make sure everybody's on the right track. Neither one of these is solved for a letter, so the first thing I want to do is take one of them and solve for a letter. Do not solve for x, because then you'll get fractions. And if I have a choice, I'm going to avoid fractions. Even I'm pretty damn good at math. I'm going to avoid fractions if I don't need to have them. One more place where a human can make a mistake. I don't care how good you are at math. Sleeps you lungs. Alright, just make sure we got the first step right. Which equation are you going to solve for what variable? I would solve the first equation, because it's only one step to get y by itself, right?
Yeah.
Here, if you subtract 2x, you got to divide by -1, and that's another place you can make a mistake. It's fine. You're not wrong, as long as you do it correctly. But negatives are another place where we make easy mistakes. So I'm going to avoid that if I can. So there's no negative. All I got to do is subtract 3x, and I know what y is. Sort of, right? In the context of algebra, you know exactly what y is. Y is 7 minus 3x. That's what y is. All right, keep going. Oh, you missed that last one. This is just for yourself. Oh. Oh, yeah. Anybody else want a copy of that last quiz if you weren't here? Oh, I'll get you on that later. For you first. Alright. This is just so you guys see what it looks like. Don't turn this into me and expect a grade. Alright, so then once you get that first one solved, no, I don't want to do that. I isolated the y, so I know that y is this. I know that. How do I immediately use that information now? In number 2, wherever I see a y, I can replace it with
7 negative 20.
Now, I'll bet a lot of money
Plus.
that a lot of people forgot or didn't realize that you had to do this. Because I'm subtracting y. If you don't put the parentheses in, you're not subtracting y, you're subtracting a part of y. Then negative's got to distribute. Let me stop there for a second. Right, if I had solved for x, if I plug it in, don't I have to distribute the 2? Of course, so I have to distribute the negative. The negative is at -1. It's a number, it has to distribute just like any other number would. Are you guys with me? Did everybody do that? Of course I did, Jeff. Alright. What do you get?
Mine 7 plus 7. Plus 2.
So I get 5x equals 5. So x is 1. If x is 1, y is 4. I like it.
So 1, 4.
1, 4. Kick ass. So if you did graph these lines, which you totally could, what would be true about them?
They meet at 1.
They'd meet at 1, 4. Kick ass. I like it. We know they're going to meet because they would have different slopes. If I solve for y, they'll have different slopes. So they have to meet somewhere.
-3 and 2.
Who to what?
The slopes.
Oh yeah, it would be -3 and 2, exactly. So one's going down, the other's going up.
You're adding the 2, and because you can't multiply 2x times 7, right? Because it's not.
Well, it's not 2x times 7, it's 2x minus. So the negative goes through. Negative times 7 is -7. Negative times -3x is plus 3x.
Oh, it's just the negative. You're not doing anything.
Yeah, what's the only thing in front of this? And understood -1,
Okay.
right? So it's not 2x times that, it's 2x minus that. So the negative goes through. You should not end up with any x squareds or y squareds yet. That's a little bit beyond this. Everything should stay linear, meaning powers of 1. Right? Parabolas and shit, that gets a little weirder when you say, well, where's this meet? So I have a parabola and I can have a line. I can have 2 answers right there, right? How many times does it hit a parabola? Twice. Don't worry, that's later. Same idea though, exactly the same idea. No matter what the thing looks like, the answer is just everywhere that it meets. That's the answer, no matter what it looks like. Okay, so that's the basic idea of substitution. Let's try some word problems out. In the yellow book, page 79. Blue book, I don't know. Which one is it? Problem about ringtones on cell phones.
What page is that?
79? Alright, so let's try to set this up. Most system of equation word problems are very nice. I know you guys don't believe me.
Blue book 64.
64 in the blue book? Okay, thank you. So a boy and a girl, blah, blah, blah. If the girl has twice and blah, 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 how many ringtones does each person have? So notice the first thing I look for is what is it that I don't know? So I know what my variables are going to be. And how many variables will I have in this problem?
2.
Because there's 2 things I don't know. What are the 2 things I don't know?
How many?
The boy, number of ringtones, and the girl, number of ringtones. So what letter are you going to assign the boy number of ringtones? B is a really good. So when you do these word problems, be nice to yourself. If you're talking about hot dogs and french fries, use H and F. So then it's really easy to go back and tell where everything came from. And the answer is going to be easy too. H equals 7. 7 hot dogs, because it's H. Hey. I like it. Do you have to do this? No. You can use X and Y, but it's just kind of crazy. What am I going to use for girl?
G.
That's crazy. So that first, now you're looking for how many separate equations? 2, because I have 2 things I don't know. So what's the very first sentence is an equation. A boy and a girl have a total of 57 ringtones.
B plus G equals...
Yeah, together they have to be 57, so B plus G. Very often you're going to have an equation that's a total. You bought a total of 8 things, and there were some erasers and some pencils and blah, 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 right? Or there were a total of 87 people, and there were some kids and some adults. So K plus A equals 87, whatever it was. Yeah. So here, how many the boy has, plus however many the girl has to be 57 total. So almost always there will be an equation that represents the total. So you just add your 2 variables together. The second equation gets more interesting.
2B.
The girl has twice as many as the boy.
So 2G.
So the girl is
G.
G.
2.
Has probably means
Twice.
equals twice as many as the boy.
2B.
Let me let you absorb that. Isn't that the direct math-lish translation? The girl has twice as many as the boy. G equals 2B. That's the way to write that in math. Much more concise.
So you don't get the 57 at all?
Definitely not. The 57 was the first equation. I want you to So sometimes that will sneak into the second equation depending on what the situation is. But the second equation was just a direct relationship. It had nothing to do with a total between them. Do you guys get the feel for this? Each sentence, almost always the first sentence is an equation, but not always, so be careful. There's a sentence that deals with one equation, and there's a sentence that deals with another equation. And they don't have to have anything to do with each other at all. They just both use the same variables, the boy and the girl in this case. Now that I've got this set up, what can I do?
B plus 2B.
Yeah, I know that G is 2B,
So B plus 2B.
so I can replace the G in the first equation with 2B. Or not.
Yeah.
This is bad. Shakespeare joke.
3B equals
Yeah, 1957.
B plus
Did you get up a 7
2B equals 57. Is everybody cool with that?
Yeah. 3B equals 57.
Yeah, you better be. No, tell me if you're not.
Divide 3.
So then 3B equals 57.
Divide
19.
Divide by 3. B equals 19. What's that mean?
3. G equals.
This is the first.
First point. First.
So G
The boy
is
has 19, boy has
There we go. This is a physical problem, so in a physical interpretation. The boy has 19 ringtone.